Lutu came on for a short period. And the points flowed, 26 points in 18 minutes when she was on the ground. But it's the Sharks who start with the footy first. Preston getting it back to Harata Butler, who starts the game in that trademark headgear. And a nice return out to the 30. Rocking defence there. As Emma rather Takarangi took the hit up.
10 metres all the way. Here. At hole. Wide. Go 3. 3.
Butler, second hit up on the opening set.
At square. 10 here.
Into Tigers territory they go, the Sharks. Now Johnston. Scouted wide last week to score a very popular try
At square. 10 here.
at the back end of the contest.
Hold. Not lights.
An awkward looking kick, but finds some grass in between the line and the winger. And it sat up nicely in the end, but the chase was good from the Sharks.
At square. 10 here. Hold. Hold. Hold.
Ruan Sims back in the commentary box. How impressed were you with the Tigers last week?
Very impressed. I spoke about this at halftime, specifically the last 18 minutes of the second half. They absolutely blew that game apart.
Time straight up. 10 minutes here. Go 3.
Kezi Apps recruited so well, so many stars littered across this starting 13. And this young player was so impressive on debut. Pryor at a dummy half, gets him second phase going.
Yeah, the Sharks really need to wrap that ball up. Ebony Pryor, when she gets scheming around there, she's very, very difficult to run down. Oh, there's an error here. Whitfield tried to get the offload as well, Speedy.
Yeah, had the arms free, but that was ambitious to try and keep that one alive around defenders.
In the middle on the 20.
The Sharks are not an overly big side, Ruan, are they? They're very fit. They look to me as though they're fit and skillful. Bit of speed, but not overly big.
No, they're not a massive pack, but like you said, speed and work rate definitely there. So they definitely have to work overtime, but they're up for the task.
Preston feeds it. Fired out to Takarangi. Tonegado moving it on to Penatani, their strike player at left centre.
Go 2.
Johnston, ball playing this time, bringing it back to Anderson, who was a standout in their opening 20 last week. And helped set the tone.
Tackle 3. Don't bring the ball forward, go back. Go back. All right, with the foot. Time back on.
Rochelle Tamarua, our referee today. There's Foliaki with the go forward. Preston down a short side.
Handled well by the Tigers though, and they get numbers in the tackle, so this will be a slow play the ball on last, and the main kicker is about to play the ball.
So Tonegado has to kick for a second time already.
Good height.
Confident take by Lanaz in off that wing.
Okay, Alex, straight up. It's square, hold.
That was some sort of win by the Cowboys, Rowan, in the previous game, wasn't it?
Fabulous, as Ja'Kiah Whitfield shows plenty of pace and power.
Burns them on the outside.
Great tackle.
Down the try-saver effectively by Cassie Staples.
Oh, there's a rule for a knock-on here by the Sharks. So the Tigers, after a great run by Ja'Kiah Whitfield, and this is a hallmark of her game, Gus, this power and ability to skip on the outside. There's an error here, and look at this on replay. Fend, pace. This tackle was right up there. Look at that.
Well, she managed to get the ball back in field. Not only that, gets a bonus that the Sharks touched it. So they retained possession. She showed a fair bit of speed there, didn't she?
It's an eagle-eyed spot to see the knock-on against Takarangi. The Tigers will take it. Rakia Horn.
All right, 2 release the group.
Part of that try-scoring blitz in the second half last week, running about 30 metres for hers. And there's Sarah Togatuki.
Release the
And
grab
towards
and
the
square.
30-metre line, and they're set up with real depth on the left-hand side here, the Tigers.
It's okay.
Flat ball for Pio.
Straight up. 10 all the way. Go 3.
Now Curtin.
110.
Oh, she saw where the runners were. Nice link up here. Whitfield was running out of room. Didn't test the sideline. It's good play. The Sharks had plenty of numbers there.
Oh, Staples again, that came up with a really great last-ditch tackle. But look at the numbers out to the right here for the Tigers. Sharks screaming for help on their left.
Do they go through the hands? Rasabale drops it in behind. It takes a Sharks bounce for a 7-tackle set.
Yeah, it might have been premeditated, the kick there, but I thought the run was on. They could have at least thrown another pass for a little investigation, but in the end put the foot to the ball. And a little bit hard to hold the in goal up that northern end of the field. It can run away from you very quickly and give away the 7 tackles.
All right, Marcus, give space. Wait. Hold.
Always been the case, Gus, down that end.
Always.
It's a very fast pitch today. The whole pitch is very quick. The ball is sitting up. It's very firm.
Yeah, this surface was actually renovated during the off-season, so they do it about every 7 years, and had a renovation this off-season, so it's in really good shape. Beautiful wet weather ground. You can have as much rain as you like, and it's as good as gold.
Some blood flowing early on in this contest.
The penalty given away by the Tigers on Anessa Biddle, and she's definitely one that you have to try and slow down or get multiple people in front of her there, because she's a very, very strong carry. Good leg drive.
No tackles.
She can bust through tackles.
Johnston busting through a tackle as well, right on cue.
Again, square. Wide.
Short side here, Tonegata.
Okay, shut up. Get square. Wide. Go 2.
Chance for Cronulla to show what they've got with some good ball here. Anderson will take them inside the Westpac red zone. Quincy Dodd looking right and left.
Go 3.
And they will go right for Preston. Cut out ball to Takarangi. Heading towards that touchline. Staples needed to be there for support. From side to side they go. Dodd for Tonegata. Overlap created here. The winger running onto it. And Biddle had to check back inboard as the Tigers slid nicely.
Yeah, they did. There was really good defence from the Tigers, one side to the other, but they covered them up.
Now Preston, who is the dominant half. Awkward one here. Oh, Staples! Held up, now fighting for it, and the Tigers able to keep it up throughout, I think.
Ja'Kiah Whitfield. What a tackle. That was a wonderful kick by Taylor Preston, and this is going to go up to the video ref as a no try. But the kick was placed absolutely beautifully straight into that corner where the sun is streaming into the defender's eyes. Everybody's onside here.
Free in from the sideline is in front of the kicker. We're just going to follow this through. The other chasers on the outside are onside.
It's a great take by Staples and an equally amazing tackle by Whitfield.
Yeah, I think Staples has given
The
this
offside
up.
chaser is not involved in the play. We're playing on at this stage.
Cassie's come back. She's happy that she didn't ground the ball. It's a wonderful take. Beautifully.
It's a clean take by Cronulla. We're playing on to this stage.
And she's kind of admitted she didn't get it to the ground.
It's Matt Noyen in the bunker. Once you're in that position, it's really tough to get it down.
Curtin and Whitfield do very, very well.
And the Cronulla players held up on the last tackle. We have a decision.
And they're ready to go, 10 metres out. Ja'Kiah Whitfield from Bathurst in New South Wales, a real flyer with that Rugby Sevens background. And already showcased it today and last week as well.
Injury. All right, sorry, time off. Tigers number 12. All right, Eliza.
Yeah, we saw the close-up earlier of Cialata
Marcus,
had blood
push up.
flowing, and that's
12
why
and
she's
7.
been asked to lead the field now.
12 and 7. Push up. Push
There's
up.
the replacement
No, wait.
player. Taylor Osborne.
Push her up. Yeah, square.
It's a long delay.
All right, she's on.
And we're right to go again
Okay, no
in the
tackles,
8th minute
time back
of
on,
the
with the
second
foot.
game of our NRLW doubleheader. And this Warehouse Sunday footy coming up later as well.
Annie square. 10 here.
From the Gold Coast, the Titans against the Cowboys.
And Brooke Anderson's been left on the ground there for the Sharks. She went down low on Kezi Apps, who's a very difficult runner to try and stop. So is this woman, Sala Tongatuki. She's a powerhouse.
Rasa Bale getting an early touch for the interchange player. Osborne just onto the ground, filling that Siolata role. Tongatuki again. Oh, look out! Ready and waiting, Harata Butler.
She's gone for the yellow headgear this week, with pink last week.
That's far from silver service from Butler there for their opposite number.
Great play on words, Speedy.
Oh, busting the biddle. Has a look, has support, and runs away from it because she sensed her teammate was struggling. Tale Holmes out there on the left edge.
Well, I did mention you've got to get numbers in on Biddle because she busts tackles. She's a very strong runner, very powerful. She gets the Sharks off to a great start for this set.
Thought about pushing the pass there, and if she did, it was on. Well done, Leanne Tafunga, snuffing out that opportunity for the Sharks. Anderson right to go, shook it off, put her hand up for that hitter.
She's pretty tough.
Now Preston, out in front of Takai Rangi, tried to force the pass for Staples, who was a little late arriving, and the Tigers create the error. It's against them though.
Yeah, it's only got a hand to it. It's a nice defence though.
In the middle. In the middle.
Beautiful rushing defence, wasn't it, Gus?
Yeah, Whitfield again.
Right, touch by Tigers.
She's having a cracker of a game.
I think it's pretty harsh. She's just making the tackle there. Not really playing at the ball.
Okay, ladies, we're on the scrum clock.
A nice centre field scrum here for the Sharks
Heads
girls.
weighted to the scrum. Hit it. Hit it. Right, clock off.
They've split it, 3 on either side here. They go left for Tonegata, who scored a try from a similar situation last week.
10 minutes here.
Who create history for the Sharks with their first 4-pointer. Johnston off the back of it.
One foot. Both in the middle.
And now Preston arrives left-hand side. Had a little look, I think, and coughed it up there, Emma Tonegata.
Well, she spotted that she had the numbers there, got a little excited and snatched at the ball. But again, Gus, when you get the halves playing footy together, good things can come off the back of it.
Yeah, the Sharks certainly do that. And Tonegata is their go-to in most attacking situations. Great deal of experience. Very skillful. Shaping up as a good game, this one. There's plenty in the Tigers, isn't there?
Wait this way. Yep, lock in, Kizzy.
This week is Harvey Norman Women in League round in NRL and NRLW. Let's celebrate how far we've come whilst recognising that we're far from done when it comes to gender equality in rugby league. Head to nrl.com/women in league to find out how to play your part. It's against the Tigers again here.
It was a good run by Bovete Welsh. She took a few Sharks players with her for a couple of metres, and then as the Sharks were getting out of the ruck, I think the referee's deeming it a loose carry. But that one could have easily gone the other way.
It's another centre field scrum. Tonegata did score from this last week, and she took a run on the first time they won a scrum here.
And receives
goes.
again. Oh, how careless is that? Straight from the scrum to cough it up with Biddle coming back underneath Tonegata.
It's not a bad play, but she just fired at that like a rocket. What could they possibly be challenging here?
I thought this was a clean knock-on.
Unless it's come
Off her leg.
off her chest only.
Yep. Challenge is a knock-on. They're disputing that.
Disputing the knock-on.
The ball comes off the arm and goes forward. There's a changing gait by the Cronulla player and she kicks the ball forward. There is no knock-on in the play. The referee then blows a whistle for a mutual infringement. The challenge by Cronulla is successful.
So what do? Replay the play.
Good challenge.
It's an amazing challenge. But they must have checked with Biddle. Did you deliberately kick that ball? She said, yes, I did. Even though she had her eyes closed.
Yeah, I know Tony Herman would have been pulling his hair out in the coach's box, thinking that might not have gone their way, but that's a very, very smart challenge by Biddle.
They take two on the centre field scrum. Do they go to Tonegado for a third time?
Well, they're feeding it from the left, so I would imagine that they'd come to the right, potentially.
Switching it up, perhaps. They do go that way. Rowan Sims is an assistant coach for Cronulla during the week.
That's just football, Speedy. If you feed it from the opposite side, the spaces, or from one side, the spaces on the opposite.
I got you. Westpac red zone. Sharks with their fair share of plays already inside the attacking 20.
16, 10 metres.
No scorers yet. Do they keep the pressure on or go for two?
Well, we did discuss that this needed to become an arm wrestle because we see how many points the Tigers have in them. And the Sharks just need to get into an arm wrestle here, which is what they're trying to do. The Tigers, they're up to the task.
Took 4 defenders to send Johnston back the other way. Short side they go, and crashing over so close to the stripe. But driven back is Tale Holmes. Anderson looking to shift it via Preston, and had a look on her outside, and there was no one really to go to as the Tigers got up sharply again. Butler targeting those uprights, and that might have helped out Kezzy Apps there, the upright, as Butler was spinning her way through. Preston, awkward looking kick, and the Tigers stand tall defensively.
Yeah, again, that was premeditated, the kick. She had options on the outside, but really good speed of line from the Tigers girls. They get set early, they sprint up off their line, put a lot of pressure on the playmakers of the Sharks, and they defended really stoutly.
Curtin did well to take that one on the full. There's a bit of push and shove. Harata Butler in the middle of it. The penalty was blown early for the marker pushing at the person playing the ball. Don't know what kicked it off. Speedy, did you see what kicked it off?
It's just a hard tackle perhaps, and someone resented it, and Butler didn't appreciate the way that she was being dealt with. Winger on front rower. Maybe that clutch of the hair initially might have upset Whitfield.
I think this might be a hip drop tackle. I should go on report for this. She might spend some time sitting down.
So it's been reviewed as a hip drop, so you're on report and goes in.
Mark that one down. Big moment in the game. The score's still locked up, but 0-0 right now, and Butler sent to the bin. There's an argument to say you could send it to the bin to cool down after that flashpoint, but she goes for the hip drop instead. Down to you, Marley.
Well, the big story for Cronulla Sharks in the lead up to this game was the late out of their fullback, Jada Taylor. It's Andy Robertson who's out the back there, and I was just hearing that in order to prepare for her first starting game in fullback, she was talking to her boyfriend, Cade Dykes, who plays for the Sharks men's side and is currently out with an ACL injury. He is a fullback too, and they've got a little bit of a competition. She's motivated to prove herself as the better fullback in that relationship in today's game.
Nice one. Competitive juices and some analysis from Cade at home heading into this one.
Well, this is where the Sharks need to be careful, because when you start getting Tongatuki taking space like that, get Nevada George working her offload, if you don't slow the ruck down, this is a good tackle. If you don't slow that down and control that speed, things can get away from you.
And the Tigers capitalise on playing against 12 right now. Here's a test for Robinson. Got there early, confident enough to take it on the full, and Andy Robinson brings it back with purpose.
The key now when they're down to 12 is that they've got to control the ball. They don't want any turnovers, they don't want to be giving away penalties, they've got to be very disciplined. Just try and keep the ball away from the Tigers.
How many sessions would Andy have had to get ready to play a fullback role?
Well, she's played fullback before. She's played fullback through Harvey Norman competition over the last couple of years. She's played centre and she's played wing. She's a very strong young player. And speaking of strong, what a run by the captain, Tiana Penatani, showing the way.
Let's tackle forward. Go back. Go back. All right, turn back home.
Concern for Christian Pio, able to get back into marker there. After being stunned, seemingly.
Last tackle.
Go forward and post-contact meters for Johnston. Slow play the ball though. Preston again. Out towards Whitfeld, who's been outstanding in the opening stanza here, but under pressure here. Oh, look out, nearly lost it.
Isn't she having a game, Whitfeld? Under the high balls, holding people up over the line and then getting her team out of trouble by making sure the ball landed in the field of play and not in the in goal.
Right, Marcus, get space. Look in, hold here. Wait, go 3.
Horn comes into dummy half.
30, no more. 10 all the way.
2.5 minutes into that stint in the bin for Butler.
Okay, last tackle.
Tigers yet to enjoy some good ball during this period, but now they'll get it.
Yeah, that hurts. The under 12, late in the tackle count, giving up the penalty.
Hey, look. Don't bring the ball forward. Take
And they did so well, didn't they, Gus? Through their physicality in the lead up to that, holding the Tigers inside their own 40. Some fatigue creeping in. Late flop, I think it was Johnston, came over the top.
Now, that was a really harsh call, but that's how it goes, I guess. Now they'll have their hands full.
Ellie, here. Wait.
Tigers with a set starting in their own half.
Alright, get space, Marcus. Hold here.
Left side is where they really did some damage last week, particularly when Lutu came on. Whitfeld and Tafunga both finished with a double against the Eels, and they're setting up to come this way.
Look at this deep swing door shape they've got on the left.
Go 2, 9.
Pryor tests out the middle one more time, and they'll eventually go left, you'd imagine. Curtin screaming for it. The halfback.
Go 3.
Togatuki receives, and now the 7 gets it. They've created the overlap. Kezi Apps turning back the clock. Didn't it open up for Kezi? The pride of Bega.
Yeah, so deep and well set out to the left, and I think the Sharks were just a little bit guilty of overreading that, worrying about what was going to happen out wide. Kezi Apps, Harvey Northern replay, runs onto a lovely short pass there. You can see the Sharks players have gone up past the ball, and big, long striding Kezi Apps.
Could not wipe the smile off her face as she strolled through there, Kezi.
No, and there was a great setup plan. I'll go all the way back to 12 tackles ago when Ja'Kiah Whitfeld managed to, when she got tackled, keep the ball outside of the in goal. That's where the pressure started. And then on the 5th tackle, a penalty's given away. And there, with that lovely deep swing door shape that the Tigers had set up, they forced the Sharks' defensive line into that error. The winger didn't go with her centre, and this is a nice looking kick here for Rasambale.
4 from 7 last week for Pauline Rasambale, and it remains 4-0. The Tigers lead it, capitalising on that period when Butler is in the bin. And in the comm box for us one game, sideline the next. Millie Boyle, down to you.
How good is it seeing Kezzy Apps in open pasture on that left edge where she belongs? Her first try for the West Tigers at her new club, but really comes down to the work there by Sala Tongatuki in the middle of the field. She's damaging with her ball running, but she's also got the pass out the back. How good is that?
Yeah, here is Kezzy, left edge. And think back to last season at the Dragons. She always had the 11 on her back, but was playing as a front rower. And I think Millie Boyle getting the message across there that Kezzy loves to play left edge.
She does. She loves playing left edge, but we had her playing in the middle for Origin, and she was fantastic there as well. But look, good tackle. Who was that? Vanessa Foliaki on Sala Tongatuki. 2 ex-teammates there as well.
Allowed to bounce this time. Well judged by Robinson in flight. Set up kindly for the fullback, and her return again. Brilliant.
She's a live wire.
Well, she moves well. She's very athletic. She reads the ball well, and look at this ruck play from the Sharks.
Loving the dummy half runs.
Yes.
Yep, finally drew the penalty. Love dummy half running.
The Logies are on tonight, Em. She kind of played for that one.
So a change made. Brooke Anderson gets a well-earned rest after her opening cameo.
Well, you're down to 12 and the opposition's had a couple of penalties. Got to make the referee make a decision sometimes. Just look for a square up. They're only human.
I'm here for it. Just makes me laugh.
If they could steal some points with Butler still in the bin, that would be a bonus for Cronulla. Preston. And here's the player who has just replaced Brooke Anderson. It's Chloe Saunders.
She's another one that has a rugby and sevens background.
Tomagado, first receiver. On to Johnston. Ellie taking on that line, and now there might be some space if they keep going the same way, perhaps. Dodd instead from dummy half. Oh, look out! Wrong choice. Kezzy Apps buried it.
I tell you what, though, there's space out here on the Sharks' right.
Catch and pass required. Intercept thrown. Good luck catching Jakaya Whitfield. She is a flyer. Tomagado has to give up the race. Look at Jakaya go from Bathurst to the NRLW stage and able to just put it down and stare them down.
Yeah, well, that's a try for your defence. Mentioned earlier, the Tigers are very aggressive. They're getting up hard. And even though they're outnumbered there, they make a big defensive play. Harvey Norman replay. They come up quickly, bang. Force the loose pass. Whitfield picks it up. And that's all she wrote. No one's going to catch her.
I think it was Leanne Tufunga that came up and put that pressure on Andy Robinson. And I think if Andy has her time again, she holds on to that. But the Harvey Norman replay showed just how quick Jakaya Whitfield is. She outpaced Emma Tomagado.
And we've got to tidy up that spelling as well. It's Whitfield.
Yeah, you got me with that one earlier. That's why I've been saying Feld. I'm not looking at the screen since.
I had to double check it with the Tigers this week, actually. I said, surely it's pronounced field. And they said, no, it's Feld. It's spelled F-E-L-D. There's no I in it. That mistake will be nutted out in the NRL.com system, and we'll have it right next week.
Apologies, Jakaya. We will get that sorted.
She was on course to become an Olympian in Tokyo with the Rugby 7 side. Sadly, an ACL injury dashed her hopes of starring on that stage. What a weapon she is, left wing for the Tigers.
And she did well to improve the position there for the kick for Piliae Rasambale, especially with that nor'wester.
How costly are these stints in the sin bin? Saw it earlier in the first game.
Yeah, but we saw a great comeback from the Cowboys.
Another player with a rugby background. Rasabali drives it through this time. 10-0 Tigers. costly 10 for the number 10 for Cronulla. Her team now playing catch-up as Harata Butler returns. Down to you again, Millie.
Yes, Jakaya Whitfield with the last try. She's been busy early and she did so well there to outrun her former Aussie Sevens teammates in Emma Tonagato and Cassie Staples. A clean break there and a try under the post.
And they would have known pretty early, Millie, I'd imagine, being a former teammate, whether they had her for league speed and had to give up pretty early.
I tell you what, Kezzy Apps is really warming into this task. You just see every time she runs it, she's taking it straight at Taylor Preston. Oh, that's climbed up.
And the penalty is blown against Takarangi.
So discipline really hurting the Sharks at the moment. Need to lower that contact zone.
Well, they're just full of running, the Tigers. And as I said, the Sharks are not a big team and just can't quite stem the momentum at the moment. Having spent that period down to 12, it would have gassed them a little bit more. Sometimes you've just got to wait for your opposition to slow down. And I think that's where they are at the moment, the Sharks.
Noted in your call of the doubleheader yesterday, Gus, that you thought the Tigers looked pretty special on first viewing last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Very skillful team. Been impressed with their defence today too. They're very, very aggressive. Obviously well skilled, well coached. Brett Camorley is their coach.
5 Churchill medalist in 1999, but not there for the 25th anniversary celebrations for the Storm the other night, focusing on this game. And here they go again. Turn down the shot at 2 to lead by 2 converted tries to chase a third 4-pointer. Fresh legs off the bench. Sophie Curtin playing alongside her sister. And now Nevada George just setting things up again. 2 more plays to go to the wide areas. They head left again. Oh, what a pass out to Whitfield. And Cassie Staples nails her. The braid went into touch, I think.
Yes.
And that counts.
It does, it does. You know, we see this with the tackles. If you wear your hair out, sometimes it gets caught. I don't mind what you do with your hair, but this is the risk you run. It's counted as part of your body. It goes out, it's in touch. But Cassie Staples with another great tackle. And the Sharks here, but she is dangerous, Jakaya Whitfield. She is dangerous.
The elbow out as well before the hair, so we can't blame the braiding entirely.
Would they rule you out because the ponytail goes over the sideline?
Yes, it's considered part of your body. So yes.
That's a bit harsh.
Well, mind you, if you get tackled by your hair, it's a penalty. So it's all got to even itself out in the wash.
Well, they should tuck it up. Put it in a bun.
It's the risk you run.
Preston kicking early. 40-30 potential. And she was actually outside the 40, so it would have been Tigers' ball no matter what, but the chase is good.
There's some fresh legs on for the Sharks here, and the Tigers are a little bit slow to get back behind to play the ball. This could be the opportunity the Sharks need just to try and turn the tide.
Important 7.5 minutes before half-time here. Down to you, Millie.
Look, I'm sorry to say, Gus, but playing in a bun, it actually comes out more, and then you're rearranging your hair nearly every set. So I do agree the braids probably have to be shortened, but the bun isn't the answer.
Okay, so shave it off. Shave it off.
Good offload, Christian Pio.
Got a bun fight between Millie Boyle and Phil Gould here.
Yeah, if I'm coaching the girls, I'm now saying shave it off. We'll all go bald.
No way.
This one will find grass. Biddle had time to watch it bounce high at Belmore. In addition, Anna Penatani is to this lineup. Had to fight for it to lure her away from Parramatta.
It's not a problem I ever had, ponytail or bun. I've got to admit.
No rat's tail, Gus?
No, never really gave it any thought.
My hair was always a mess, so.
I thought there's a footy card of you with a bit of action out the back, Gus.
Yeah, occasionally. down through the ages. I wasn't a slave to fashion.
Bit of Mark Orr.
Created it.
Mark Orr mullet. Preston. Tumbling this one really long. It sailed on the breeze, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look out. Someone stop it or it'll go out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's nearly in Campsie.
It's that nor'wester, Gus. It just kept going, the kick.
Well, the Tigers are going to have that in their favour in the second half. For the Sharks girls, 10-0 on the scoreboard. They've been down to 12. They've just got to concentrate their next to score. It doesn't matter how long that takes. Don't get impatient. Play the long game, but you must be next to score. That relates to your defence and the way you control the ball. Don't get too frantic.
What an engine Whitfield has. Gets to Fugger on the outside this time. Just involved in each and every set from the left wing, Jakaya Whitfield, and says, I can go dummy half if you want. But Curtin says, no, that's my responsibility. Finds her sister, and they come back to centre field. Folau Vaki, just off the bench in the 17. Rasambali tried to shape for a Matt Burton-like bomb. Didn't quite get the connection she was after, but Burton, of course, does that at training at this venue all week.
Just the third kick. It was the third tackle that she put that up on.
Bit strange,
Yeah, I don't think they needed to. Looked like they had the Sharks on the ropes, to be honest. I think their ruck speed has been significantly better.
Square, wide. Go 3.
Will it open the door for the Sharks? Look at this field position with 2 more plays up their sleeve and the full complement, of course. Butler's been back for a while now.
Wait, go for it.
Preston. Use Foliaki as a decoy. I think Vanessa was all that happy about that either. Now, on the final play, where to go next?
No touch.
Miscommunication from the Sharks because Preston was out of play. Eventually, she does get the kick away. And another 7-tackle set has been given up, and the coach's address is close. Tony Herman won't be happy at all about that finish.
Yeah, it's the bustling Tigers defence that's causing all that sort of frantic action.
0.
It's got to be composed.
I'd like to see a little more depth out of the Sharks' attack. Just step a little bit deeper. Try and take the weight off that line speed of the Tigers.
Release it now! Hold here. Go 1. 1.
Vaki again. Running into a solid shoulder there.
Let go! Hold here. Go 3. 2.
Service for Nevada George. Late offload. Hits the deck, but chance for PO to wind up, and there's space on the outside if Apps uses it. Goes to Tafunga. Whitfield comes back inboard. What about the passing from the Tigers in ideal footy conditions? And they're 25 out here. Midway through the count. Can they make it 3 unanswered tries in the first half?
3.
They can go left or right.
Release! Go 4. 4.
Back to centre field. Shocking pass from the front rower. And it all comes undone.
Knock on, it's a scrum.
Well, I think the Sharkies needed that one.
Middle, clock on.
Really having trouble containing the skill and the size of this West Tigers team. But a fumble gave them a little bit of a let-off.
On this side.
Only a couple of minutes to go to half-time. The Sharks really need that break. Get down with their coach.
He's right in.
A little bit of oxygen in the lungs.
Good. Yeah, this side.
Realise it's not all that bad.
Break!
And come out for a big second half.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Thank you.
Whoever wins this game will be top of the NRLW ladder after 2 rounds, and they're both new clubs this season, helping to make it a 10-team comp. Which of these teams will be 2-0?
Here. Go 2.
Tigers well placed. We saw a turnaround in the previous game. Cowboys were going right to left in the second half. From inside the 40 this time from Preston. Tumbling it away from Beau Vetty-Welsh. Set up nicely for the Tigers fullback. Let's look at the live ladder right now. The Tigers plus 38 for and against and top of the ladder.
They're definitely playing like they're top of the table. like Gus said, plenty of running, plenty of physicality, but their ruck speed has been far superior to the Sharks today. And they're catching the ball on the ad line.
Well done, Nevada George. Second phase here for Piliati Nasabale. And again for Curtin. Great read. Staples needed to come in off the wing and jam in on Apps, but another offload. They just can't lock up the footy here, the Sharks.
And I think that's probably what Tony Herman is going to be most disappointed with. It was a focus for him through the week. It's one thing knowing about it, you still have to stop it.
So this will be the final play potentially for the Tigers in this half. They're 30 metres out. What can they do with it?
Go last.
Curtin goes as high as she can. Robinson. Oh! That's really aggressive. High tackle from Curtin. The curtain's closed on Andy Robinson. You don't want to see him close like that.
No, both Curtin sisters came in with a coat hanger. I think she might be in a bit of trouble here. Sophie Curtin. There you go, on report.
Hey, it looks spectacular. I didn't think it was all that bad. And the Sharks, unless they do something silly here, are going to get through to half-time with a 10-point deficit. And that's... yeah, just take the tackle. They'll be happy to go to the break.
Well, Tigers fans will be loving this. Their team is delivering as a start-up side in the NRLW, winners in round 1 and big leaders here at the break. It's the Tigers 10, the Sharks 0.
He's keeping his powder dry, but the good thing with Lutu is that she can come on, she can play in the halves, or you can play her like she did in the 19s Origin at that ball-playing lock position. So it gives him a lot of flexibility in his rotation.
So the Tigers with that 10-0 edge start with the footy in their hands. Strong return as well from Vaki. Another who's played on that under-19s Origin stage. There's Pio. Go short side. There was too much going on in that ruck situation, so that's a bonus penalty to start the half.
The Tigers definitely targeting Taylor Preston. Every time their big players get the ball, they're just running at her, trying to tire her out, and the referee deeming that Preston pushed the player trying to get up and play the ball.
Strong run by the co-captain, Apps. Shares that responsibility with Bo Vetty-Welsh, the fullback. There's another late offload before the held call by Pio. There's been a lot of that, particularly late in the first half.
They're just doing it at will, aren't they? Sharks really can't lock the ball up at all. Just doubles their workload. You make a tackle, they offload, you've got to chase them again.
Butler making that contact count and wants to go for a strip. He holds on. Depth here on the right-hand side. Rasambali takes them on. Well locked up. That time by Saunders. It is the last. Curtin. Tonegata got a little touch on that to stop it getting into the end goal, and that was key. And Natani bringing it out for the Sharks, and they're rolling off the back of that.
More of this ruck running, Gus. This is where the Sharks seem to be making the most metres.
That's their best ploy, is the running from dummy half. Either get a kick on the end of that, or got to start to string some passes together shortly. But every time they run there, they make good ground. Look at this.
Good backing up by Biddle there. She just played the ball and went with her 9.
It was a really cheap 60 metres. They started that right on their own goal line.
And the kick near enough lands 10 metres out for Bo Vetty-Welsh as we check in with Marley for some halftime news.
Got some word of what Tony Herman said at halftime to his Sharks girls. He was cool, calm and collected, not too stressed, wanting to see the girls really focus on completions in this first 10 minutes and to get back into the grind. Captain Tiana Penatani also finished the halftime chat with a big rev up for the girls, getting them all pumped up, reminding them that they love a challenge like this.
Hold here. Hold.
Here's a big challenge for the Sharks. Try and quell a team that was so dominant in the second half last week. Curtin. It's a dummy half run from the Tigers this time.
So Chloe Saunders was left behind in that tackle there. Just making her way back for the Sharks. But Curtin has a mountain of time to put this kick in.
Emily Curtin, that is, the halfback. Sister Sophie coming off the bench in that 14 jumper, the twin sisters. Both of these clubs enjoyed success in the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership. A lot of those players turning out for the same club now in the NRLW.
The OB's taking a lot of pressure off the middles for the Sharks here, but when they get through it, the Sharks middles really need to step up and start owning that middle third.
Delgado into dummy half this time for Tale Holmes. Bringing it back centre field. Preston again will go the kicking option. Tumbles it in between fullback and winger. A lot of those bounces today, and they kick to Whitfield.
Way better.
Could that be a tactic, kicking to the most damaging runner on the opposition?
Sometimes it can be. I'd probably try and kick the other way, personally. Just because she has been so dominant throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, she's up over 200 metres run already. Jakaya Whitfield helped by an 80-metre intercept.
Wait, go 3.
Theo is a strong runner as well. She's up over 130 metres now with that effort. Apps rolling off the back of it.
Okay, how to last one? All the way, no markers!
No real chase here. People have room to bring it back. Really warm conditions for this late July game at Belmore. Interesting play from Tonegado, and Penatani was ready to latch onto it.
Go 2.
Bench being utilised here, a double change. Ellie Johnston and Anderson coming back on for the Sharks, and here's what they needed.
Yeah, it's a good run.
Not foul play.
It's a good run, put a lot of pressure on.
Not foul play.
Oh, so it was high contact, Gus. I missed that one. Yep.
Okay, with the foot. No tackles.
The OBs, like we spoke about, Gus, the OBs are really just going through a mountain of work, digging the Sharks out of their own half.
10 here. Go 1.
Tonegado for Penatani. Ball comes out, and when it comes out like that, the referee was going to say it's a loose carry, but got a late tip up from the touchy. We've got Tom
I think it's a pass off the ground.
Pass off the ground, that's what the penalty is for.
So it's a penalty to the Tigers.
Very clearly tackle completed.
Are you going to kick the toe?
Don't think she was looking to pass it. I think she was looking to probably try and get up, and she lost control. So either way, Tigers ball.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity for the Sharks. They're in good position there. You need to concentrate. Don't let the scoreboard get into your head.
It was amazing. The Sharks were celebrating, yes, we've got a penalty, and then the touchy communicated with the ref that that's a pass off the ground penalty the other way.
It's a cruel game.
Good team, the officials. Don't forget to be at the SCG Thursday, August 3. That's this Thursday. The Roosters will host an NRLW and NRL doubleheader. As the Tigers go wide, cut out ball for Whitfield once more. Checking back inboard. What a fabulous day she's having. 5:40 p.m. it is. Roosters against Dragons in the NRLW, and then the Roosters against Manly in the NRL. Make sure you're there to witness the epic doubleheader. NRL.com/tickets.
Brooke Anderson did so well. She made a tackle, and then there was an offload played through, and then as the player coming back against the grain ran near her, she popped up off the ground and forced an error. But the Tigers, every time they've got the ball, they look dangerous.
They're a very good side. Very good side. Only going to get better, you would imagine, the more time they play together. And the Sharks are brave. Like, they're hanging on They really aren't in the contest at the moment, but they've been brave.
Release! 14 here. Wait. Go
7 of these Tigers were NRLW debutants last week.
It's okay.
What a job they've done with their recruitment to be ready to go and hit the ground running first up.
Well, it's a game of opportunity now, isn't it? Expansion to 10 teams.
Take off. Question now. 10, drag all the way. No lights.
Preston looking to change up the angle here. Does kick to the other winger, Lanaz, who's had a quiet day relative to Whitfield on the other side.
Okay, get us back.
Much better option there.
10 here. All
Much
the way.
better.
Wait. Go 1. 1.
It seems to be the only way to try and get Whitfield out of the game is just to starve her of possession, because she's just so good. If it goes anywhere near her, she makes you pay. And a penalty.
Another high shot.
On the line. Quick, touch. No. Alright, thank you.
Off the ball and resulting in a headlock kind of look.
Counter weight. Wait here.
Seemingly the trigger for the whistle to be blown on the last 2 high tackle penalties.
Counter, shut up! To the square! She's stuck, she's stuck! Go 1.
Go 10.
Togatuki, some late footwork at the line, trying to get rid of Saunders.
Go 2, there, good.
Depth here, right-hand side.
Outside.
Quick hands. Betty Welsh has had a quiet day and her team is still in a dominant position. Wait until she explodes at some stage.
Same as Tongatuki. She's gone through a lot of work, but we saw her just set it alight last week. She's back on there for a second stint.
Ciolata was cleared after her early HIA, back playing it there. And now Togatuki centre field for George. Creep their way inside the Westpac red zone here.
Get straight! Hold here, hold, don't play.
Set to go left-hand side. Apps waits for ball in hand, uses the decoy. Betty Welsh, lovely hands to Funga, to Whitfield, and the Sharks scramble just in the nick of time. Put out the back to Apps for Curtin to get a kick away at the end of it all. And Penatani safe underneath it, just in the field of play.
Gee, that was good footy. Good attack from the Tigers, great defence from the Sharks, and they kept it alive. Got a 5th tackle kick in, and it had to be diffused. Plenty happening on that last play, and the Sharks still hanging on desperately.
Looked ominous when Tafunga sliced her way through.
Yeah, there was a disconnect between the winger and the centre there.
Well, the Tigers look more likely. There's a penalty here for the Sharks, they needed that. The Tigers look more likely at the moment. You get the feeling every time they've got a possession, they're a chance of scoring, where the Sharks just are constantly in survival mode. They're just trying to hang on.
And I think if we had a look at the Westpac red zone, plenty of tackles in the 20 for the Tigers.
Thank you.
So Togatuki on report for that high shot, late footwork from Staples. Just throwing off the timing for the superstar, Togatuki. Telstra has some of the best defence in the business, tackling millions of cyber threats every day. Here they go into enemy territory on play 2.
Sharks need a try just for their own confidence and just to keep them in the game on the scoreboard. Give them a little bit of incentive that all their hard work is paying off. They're doing a good job.
3.
Now Toka just on.
3.
Robinson chimes in that fullback role, and Penatani contained by Rakia Horn. And they sweep it back centre field. Here's a look at those Westpac red zone stats.
Oh, I was wrong. The Sharks had more play the balls, but maybe it's the offloads of the Tigers. That's actually what's causing a lot of trouble for the Sharks.
Decent kick this by Preston. Oh, Whitfield again summed it up perfectly.
Of course
Had to be patient.
She can do no wrong, Speedy. Look at this reverse angle. The kick from Preston sliced through.
It's square.
Well, it's not often your winger is the best player on the field, but
chance, of course, to take her into the in goal, but she beat about 5 tacklers as well.
Well, the thing is, she's so strong. Because she's so powerful, that base is so strong. So when she just sets her legs and keeps them moving, you just can't move her. She's an immovable object.
That's outside.
Lutu is on, and immediately a pass sticks and opens up space. And remarkable, Lutu now backing up. Very well, didn't go back to her for a dream introduction. Lasana Lutu couldn't believe Bo didn't see it. Steps in at first receiver and now shows her kicking game. It's a floater and floated onto the chest of Penatani, but she could have been celebrating a try if she was found inside.
It should have been a try to Lutu, and she would have gone under the posts untouched as well. She drew the fullback in and then just couldn't identify that Lutu was coming up on her inside there. And the Sharks, that's another get out of jail free card. Here we go. Beat the half for pace. Didn't even look on the inside.
Well, she looked to Whitfield, and Whitfield was going, your option's inside. She was pointing back to Lutu, but not sure that finger point was seen. What a luxury this is, Gus, for Brett Kamali to have someone like this off the bench, like Lutu.
Last one.
Yeah.
All the way 2 metres.
She's a weapon.
Hold. No light.
No need to rush her, though. Long way to go.
16. 8. I got him. Help!
Still only a teenager. She's got all the skills.
White. Go white.
Fiji born, Campbelltown raised.
It's in here.
She'll be looking forward to a game out at Campbelltown as a Tiger. Moving on again here for Whitfield, who put the footwork on. What about the way she glided on the outside of Takairangi?
Okay, straight on now. It's in here. Hold. Go 3. 3.
Arms around the
10 metres all the way.
mush of Curtin.
Go
Oh, we saw that penalised twice earlier this game.
Siolata, backslammed, and they executed that not quite perfectly according to the referee.
11 on the legs, dangerous. Wait.
Was she put in a dangerous position? Is that what they're saying?
Been reviewed. Go 10.
14 it was with the legs. Past the horizontal, debatable. There's an immediate protest, but the penalty stands and the touch fine that has given the Tigers great ball again.
Yeah, they'll do well, the Sharks, to hold on here. You just feel as though there's a knockout blow coming.
Togatuki. Late offload, and the intercept was there, but knocked on by the Sharks. First one by the Tigers. Do they challenge this?
Oh, I thought she was an offload, and Sala Tongatuki is claiming that it was an offload. They've only got a couple more seconds if they want to challenge it.
Yeah, Tigers ball. Sorry. Tigers ball.
She might have got which team was going which way. Yeah, because she says it's Tigers ball. I think now the Sharks might challenge.
Come on.
I think we've just got an
No, I
injury
think there's an
here.
injury down.
So
Vanessa
treatment for
Foliaki.
a Shark as the Tigers have a handy lead here.
Sorry, so it was backwards off Tigers, not on Cronulla. Lasana. Is she staying on? Trina, is she staying on? Okay. Oh, Lasana, wait.
Welcome back. About to pack that scrum, and the referee cleared things up. It was never an infringement by the Tigers. The pass went backwards. That was confirmed. So they do get the footy. Centrefield scrum, a chance to strike immediately off the back of it. Rakia Horn. Oh, footwork dazzling around Penatani.
Big right foot step. That was a beauty. Here they come.
No Tonagato out there for the Sharks at the moment. Injured on the sideline seemingly. We'll get Marley Silver onto that one. Big headline out of this one. Pryor back on to run the show at dummy half. Curtin now playing as a middle. Tokatuki to decoy. Curtin throwing the dummy. And knocking on the door. Number 7 out of play now on the last. And they go back to the other Curtin to move it on to Lutu. The creativity with ball in hand. To Funga. Pops it out the back and Whitfield knocks it on. The Sharks still stay in the contest.
That's really brave defence from the Sharks girls. This is a highly talented Tigers team. They're testing them all over the field.
On the 10.
And the Sharks refuse to give up. Very brave.
On the 10.
Marley Silva.
Okay, what the
Big loss for Cronulla with confirmation that Emma Tonegato has injured her calf and will not be returning this match. It's not something that looks too serious, mostly precautionary, but we'll be keeping an eye on that one after this game.
In doubt for the home game against the Titans now in round 3.
Yeah, that takes away a lot of their strike power and organisation too. Not sure who steps up here for the Sharks to take control.
Well, I think
Johnston.
particularly Taylor Preston at 7 and Quincy Dodd when she comes back on. I'd be expecting those two to really start scheming and working.
Just held on after getting whacked by Cialata. Now Toka has played in the halves before. Maybe she assumes that Tonegato role and gets the kick away here. They are still scoreless today, the Sharks. Kept the Eels to 8 last week. The West Tigers, their defence, straight out of the blocks in NRLW, is catching the eye. Pryor out of dummy half. Togatuki able to hit the advantage line.
She's starting to get into it now.
Pryor again. Great mover out of dummy half. Give her 15 metres on that run. And not held. Yes, held. We'll have to play it 20 out. Fired to Curtin. Nice take in off the wing by Biddle.
She's been strong for the Sharks today. I spoke earlier about how she's got a powerful run, but she's taken everything that's come her way, Gus.
If this was a boxing match, they'd be giving the Sharks a standing 8 count. They're just wobbling. I don't know how they're hanging on.
I mentioned Biddle. She's in the 200s for run meters as well, second only to Whitfield. One of the number 2s putting on a show.
The Sharks are just too tired to string together any passes. It's all one out running, dummy half running.
Johnston, that might help. Second phase for Toka. Holmes for Penatani. Space now for Biddle. Oh, wow! Curtin dumps her across the sideline. An unceremonious end to that one.
Oh, that's a big shot. A big shot from a little girl.
She threw everything into it too, didn't she, Gus?
Emily Curtin comes across and says, "Not on my watch." Out you go.
All in all.
Not on my watch.
Actually an inadvertent head clash as well, isn't it? On that initial contact.
It was the first time that the Sharks have strung together some passes, a nice offload and some second phase play. It's able to get Biddle away, but brilliant cover defence there from Emily Curtin.
She'll be the victim of an HIA. She's leaving the ground now. Bringing her body on the line.
She won't mind after that.
Oh, here we go. Yep, she definitely is coming off. That's all right. They've got Razambale on the bench because Lutu came on into that left half position.
Just executing that, playing with 12 right now, but it doesn't matter. They've got an overlap for Linaz. What about that? One-on-one strip. Toka like a magician. So what do I have here? Abracadabra. I've got the footy and away I go.
It's a little bit of magic.
The Sharks have got numbers out on the right, but they just look a little disorganised at the moment. That fatigue is really taking its toll.
Nice contact there on Saunders.
Christian here. Wait. Go through.
Preston almost a way through for Takararangi. Back to centre field they come. Anderson for Johnston. Important legs tackle. Piliano, Rasambale. They keep coming left for Naitoka Toka. Turned around Lanaz. Nice chase. That's perfection.
Well, Naitoka Toka, it's quite handy having a player who can play 9, 6, 13 on the bench, and her kicking has been very, very strong here for the Sharks. She came up with the strip previously, a few tackles ago, and now she's forced a goal line dropout. This potentially could be the opportunity the Sharks are needing, get some oxygen back in the lungs. I think they need to see Quincy Dodd out there, though.
Well, they'd love a try. They just need to get the Tigers a little nervous. At the moment, the Tigers have got the 10-point buffer. They can narrow the margin, make a big difference. Look out.
Yep, look out. And they get it back. The Tigers falls in between 3 Sharks. That is a perfect line dropout from Piliane Rasambale.
As soon as she kicked it, I said, look out. You could just see no one was going to catch that. She shocked them.
Everyone was covering their eyes, trying to see where it was going.
Straight into the sun. That's a big let off for the Tigers, and that's a real disappointment for the Sharks. A few heads drop there. They'll need to rally again.
You told us about the in-goal area left of screen earlier, Gus. What about the sun at Belmore going right to left?
Yeah, this time of year down there, it's virtually in your face in the second half.
That should be a set restart there. Naitoka Toka.
She's a thief. She's a thief.
The burglar.
She's done that twice. Should be wearing a balaclava, not a headgear.
Well, she's definitely trying to lift her troops, isn't she? Johnston is slow to her feet.
Doing a pass behind the playmaker, so nothing doing on that play. About to enter the final 10 minutes and still trailing by 10 here, the Sharks. There's time, but they need to get a move on. Played 20 out. Johnston ball playing to get Holmes scouting wide. She's driven backwards as well. On the back foot for the final play. Naitoka Toka ducked under one. And now the kick. It's a poor end of the set in the end. Easy pickings for Fetty Welsh.
She's a crafty little thing, isn't she?
Okay, back into space. Annie here. Wait. Go one.
Fiji born, raised in Sydney.
Okay, move now.
Won the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership with Mounties, did Seri Naitoka Toka. Oh, almost through as well, Johnston. What about that tackle? The strong arm of Ellie.
Leanne Tafunga, that is a hallmark of her game. She likes to run hard, back against the grain. Made plenty of metres there for the Tigers, and they're just marching upfield.
Go forward.
Lutu goes early to Apps, shaping for another trademark offload. Only saw to that. Everything slows down when Lutu gets her hands on the footy. Time to assess her kicking options. Good safe take by Biddle, and through the initial contact from Lanaz.
She's been terrific, Biddle. But this girl, Lutu, how naturally gifted is she? My God, she's a talent.
She is.
Just a teenager.
In the trial match, she had an absolute blinder, and that's why Tony Herman had to pick her for game 1. She was just so strong. Every carry, she just chewed up metres. Got a cramp here with Andy Robinson. The Sharks were appealing for a penalty earlier.
Just over 8 minutes to go. Time is the enemy now for the Sharks. I've got to commend them. They've been so brave. These girls have been terrific.
So let's take a 2. Move in. Come in, field.
The Tigers will be looking at them saying, how the hell are you still in this?
Wait. Tackle count,
So they'll treat Robinson and Penatani will play it.
okay, time back on. 2.
Lost Tonagato, if you've just tuned in, to a calf issue. Hasn't been the Sharks' day yet, but still time if they can score a couple of tries late. Dodd on now, and here's a penalty to get really good ball.
10 metres, not quick.
Wanted to take the quick tap. We saw it last week.
Okay, with the foot.
To
No tackles.
devastating effect for the Titans against the Cowboys with Zara Canfield. Oh, Butler bumping one off. Got rid of Lutsu. Oh, look at it go. Harata Butler.
Good run.
He's
Good
at
run.
the spot.
Right side. Go, go, go. Go, 1.
Toka. Holmes wasn't sure whether she was going to receive, and then it was thrown out in front of the back rower.
The Tigers' defence is very good. They're giving up nothing to these Sharks girls.
2.
Now Dodd getting involved as a playmaker. Great defence. What a defender she is, Tafunga.
Right on cue. Gus was just commending the Tigers' defence and they shut down that raid perfectly.
Dodd trying to get Takarangi on the outside. Work to Staples, but again they slide. Two more plays left. Butler ready to go once more. Had the bumper bar up.
Did well to pull that offload back in.
Yeah, offload denied as well. Now Toka. And Lanaz just playing her role as well.
Good spacing, good placement defensively by the Tigers. They're shutting down everything that the Sharks have been throwing at them today.
Yeah, for a team that's just been put together, they're as good potentially as anything in the competition, the Tigers. I know it's only 10-0, but gee whiz, they've shown some good signs on both sides of the ball.
They can win the comp. Guess.
Well, they'll only get better. I think they're as good as any side in the competition, and they'll only get better.
Staying sound, so important in this 9-round comp before the 2 weeks of finals. Sharks have been battered and bruised in their opening couple of rounds, but the Tigers looking fit, and now treatment for the kicker. Got to protect the kicker and Lutu in this case. Spun around with the
She's shoulder charge. Yep, attacking the leg of the kicker. There's a number of Sharks players that were down. I think Vanessa Foliaki is still down in back play with the trainer. Just over 5 minutes left in this game, and the Tigers, they've just had a stranglehold the whole afternoon, haven't they, Gus?
Yeah, they've been a little too good, but the Sharks have been very, very brave. And that's an unlucky penalty. I mean, Lutu took her time to kick that. The ball didn't get to her straight away, and you're entitled to put pressure on the kicker.
As the treatment is issued, we'll take a quick break. Vanessa Foliaki, who was swinging on the pickle juice, still being attended to. The kicking tee is out there. Lead right now is 10, a chance to make it 12. It's the right call.
Yep, it's the call I would have made if I was out there for the Tigers. Potentially going ahead by 2 converted tries.
Yeah, it's a big kick.
Okay, boys, back for 2. Time back on.
get much ball up this end of the field in the second half. A couple of sets. Actually, I don't think the Sharks mind this. They'd much rather her kicking for goal than having to defend another set on their own line.
But the clock ticks and less than 5 minutes to go, of course. So Piliate Rasambali just milking as much clock as she can. And trying to make sure of the kick as well from 33 metres out. You miss it, make sure it goes dead is the cry. Gives it everything, strikes it nicely back off the uprights, and it does go dead.
Everything's just rolling up Tigers today, isn't it? No, that's not the rule, Andy. Go back.
That's a nice try. Just in case the referee didn't know the rules. You got to try it on.
Exactly, you got to try.
What if it comes off the upright they're saying? Does that change everything?
Well, they really should have had a winger back there covering that. They only had one person behind the dead ball, behind the try line there for that penalty attempt. There's always a chance it can hit the uprights.
Tongatuki.
She's been very, very strong. Very strong.
Now it's finally come over. The players could have done with this about an hour ago. It's one of those jackknifing situations. Could have got ugly there for Piliate Rasambali, able to play it relatively quickly. Lutu again, moving beautifully for Bovetti Welsh, and wasn't sure how to position Whitfield, who was trying to come back inboard.
Yeah, the Sharks had them covered though. Sharks lost their fullback during the week of training. Lost Tamagato at a vital stage in the second half with a calf injury.
Closer. Okay, feet. Come back on. Right. Let's start that. Shut up. 10 here. Hold. Hold.
3 minutes to go.
1.
Sharks need a miracle.
Christian up now. 10 here. Here. Wait. Hold.
A triumph it would be if the Tigers can keep a clean sheet in their second game.
Especially in such a tight match, such a tussle. If they keep the Sharks to 0, that gives them even more confidence heading into round 3.
Johnston, one more pass and they would have been away with a 3-player overlap.
There's been no score at all in the second half. We're still at the half-time score.
Ole Holmes against the grain. Oh! Big hit in the middle, but Talo went through the other side off the legs of Dodd. Doesn't matter now, it's tightened up by the Tigers.
Got to be ready for that offload. Wasn't expecting it.
16 on now. 10 here. Go 2.
2 minutes left on the clock. Looks like the Tigers will fight out a pretty tough win.
Considering we haven't had any points in the second half, it has been an absorbing game.
Oh, quality game. Yeah, really good quality game. Got to commend the Sharks. They've really stuck to the task. I felt like the Tigers were always going better, always looked more likely, but they've defended stoutly. Probably lost a little bit of strike to injury. The Sharks. Tigers, Lutu again.
Staples able to stretch out those hamstrings late. Same field, same conditions. Earlier on it was 31-20 Cowboys, and this one a 10-0 grind. Oh, that's a concern. Real concern. So late in the game, you fear when a player crumples like that. Hopefully just a cramp. We'll take a quick break.
So I'm going to ask, is it a cramp? Sure. 2 cramps. So we're going to grab the ball. We're going to grab the ball. We're going to move this side. Grab the ball. Grab the ball. Move on that side. Yeah, someone else needs to play the ball. Just hold on. This will be tackle 2. Move the play that way. Yep. All right, Christian, wait, Christian, here. Kizzy, here. Osana. Right, tackle 2. With the foot. 2.
The final minute
2.
being played here.
Lasana, straight out. Hey, square, White.
Taking a real toll here.
Go 3.
Cramps being stretched out all over the place. Could only be a consolation try now if the Sharks find one, but Butler has come out, emerged on the other side, and too quick for her teammates. The support didn't loom. Now Penatani.
Last tackle. 60 square.
Final play for the Sharks.
Go, not late. 10.
Can they hit the scoreboard? In the final minute, Dodd's little grubber in behind. Vetty Welsh ran past it, but still good enough to tidy up.
Surrender. Hey, stand out in here, White.
And the Tigers can close this one out. Whitfield adding to her stats today. 280 metres plus.
Ellie, release now.
And the siren sounds. The West Tigers are top of the comp. 2 rounds into their existence. 2-0 to start the 2023 season. They may be at the bottom in the NRL, but they're top of the NRLW pile right now, the Tigers, and couldn't be more impressive.
Well, 2 weeks in a row, they're going to top the table after each round. And last week they won with a lot of flair and a lot of football movement. Today they won through their defence. They won through just their resilience, their toughness, and it became a real arm wrestle. Obviously that second half, no points scored, but we spoke about just how enthralling the game was, even though we maintained that halftime score. Few injuries for the Sharkies, but the Tigers, they turned up today. Everything they were doing, they were front foot. Ja'Kiah Whitfield was fantastic for them. Sala Tongatuki got through a ton of work, kept quiet early, but you just can't keep a great player like that down.
For and against already plus 38 and only 2 unbeaten teams after 2 rounds. It's a fantastic competition, the expanded 10-team comp. Full-time here in the second game of our doubleheader. It is the Tigers 10, the Sharks 0.